The placement of Neptune in the sixth house of a natal chart is a profound study in the blurring of boundaries between the mundane and the mystical. In astrology, the sixth house governs our daily routines, physical health, acts of service, and the workplace environment. When Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, spirituality, and ego dissolution, resides here, the ordinary world of chores and checklists is infused with a sense of the ethereal. The fog in the machinery. On a practical level, Neptune in the sixth house often struggles with the concept of a rigid 9-to-5 schedule. While the sixth house is traditionally associated with Virgo's precision and order, Neptune acts like a mist that settles over these structures. For the native, time can feel fluid rather than linear. This often manifests as a difficulty in maintaining strict routines or a tendency to get lost in tasks. There is a deep-seated resistance to the cogs in the machine lifestyle. The soul craves work that feels meaningful, artistic, or spiritually resonant, making corporate bureaucracy feel particularly soul-crushing. The healing crisis and sensitivity. Health is a major theme for this placement, and Neptune here grants an almost porous physical boundary. These individuals are often psychic sponges, absorbing the stress and vibrations of their environment, which can manifest as psychosomatic illnesses or difficult-to-diagnose symptoms. They may be hypersensitive to chemicals, drugs, or environmental toxins. However, this sensitivity is also their greatest gift. It often draws them toward holistic or alternative medicine. They are the natural healers of the zodiac, instinctively understanding that physical ailments are frequently manifestations of spiritual or emotional imbalances. For these natives, health is not just about a gym routine, it is about the alignment of the body and spirit. Service as a spiritual path. In the realm of employment, Neptune in the sixth house individuals find their greatest fulfillment when they are in service to something larger than themselves. They are often drawn to the helping professions, nursing, social work, animal rescue, or the arts. The shadow side of this placement, however, is the martyr complex. Because Neptune seeks to dissolve the ego, the native may over-identify with being a servant, allowing coworkers or employers to take advantage of their kindness. They may struggle to set boundaries, ending up exhausted because they've taken on everyone else's workload or emotional baggage. Learning to say no is not just a career skill for them, it is a vital necessity for their mental health. Idealism versus reality. There is a persistent search for the ideal job. The native may drift through various careers, looking for a sense of divine purpose in their daily labor. This can lead to periods of unemployment or confusion, but it can also lead to a life of profound creativity. When they find a way to bring their imagination into their daily work, whether through music, healing, or charity, the sixth house ceases to be a place of drudgery and becomes a sanctuary. Integration and grounding. To master this placement, the individual must learn to ground Neptune's high vibrational energy into the physical earth. This means finding beauty in the small things, the steam off a morning coffee, the rhythm of a walk, or the quiet dignity of a task well done. When they stop viewing the mundane as an obstacle to their spirituality and start seeing it as a vehicle for it, they find a rare kind of peace. They become the people who can find the sacred in the middle of a messy office or a busy hospital ward, acting as a calming, invisible force for good in the lives of everyone they encounter. When Neptune moves through the zodiac, the sign it occupies colors the specific flavor of the fog it casts over your sixth house. Because Neptune moves so slowly, its sign placement is often shared with your entire generation, but its expression remains deeply personal to your daily habits and health. The fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. In fire signs, Neptune's influence on the sixth house creates an idealistic drive. You may feel a spiritual calling to act or lead, but you might struggle with the follow-through of daily chores. Aries, work is a quest for self-discovery. Health may be impacted by burnout from bursts of high energy followed by sudden crashes. Leo, daily life needs to be a creative performance. You may seek a job that offers glamour or allows you to save others through your brilliance. Sagittarius, you find the divine in the big picture, making mundane paperwork feel like a cage. Health is often tied to your sense of freedom and travel. The Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Neptune is in a bit of a tug-of-war here, as Earth demands the structure that Neptune tries to dissolve. This can lead to a practical mystic persona. Taurus, you seek a sensory, beautiful workspace. Health is managed through natural, earthy remedies and a deep connection to the physical body. Virgo, Neptune's fall. This is a complex placement where you may obsess over health purity or feel perpetually disorganized despite a deep desire for order. Capricorn, you may try to build a professional empire on a dream. The challenge is staying grounded in reality while pursuing high-level career goals. The air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Here, the sixth house Neptune manifests as mental and social idealism. Your routines are dictated by your intellectual or social connections. Gemini, your daily life is a swirl of information. You may struggle with nervous exhaustion due to a constant intake of data and chatter. Libra, harmony in the workplace is your religion. You may sacrifice your own needs to keep the peace with coworkers or partners. Aquarius, you are the humanitarian worker, seeking to revolutionize the workplace with technology or progressive ideals, often feeling like an outsider in traditional roles. The water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is where Neptune is most at home, creating profound sensitivity. The boundaries between your work, your feelings, and your body are almost non-existent. Cancer, your workplace needs to feel like home. You likely mother your coworkers and find your health is directly tied to your emotional security. Scorpio, you seek work that involves transformation or uncovering secrets. You have a detective's intuition for office politics and hidden illnesses. Pisces, dignified, the ultimate placement for a healer or artist. Your daily life is a dreamscape, but you must be careful not to completely drift away from the physical requirements of life. When transiting Neptune moves through your sixth house, the solid ground of your daily existence begins to soften. This is a long-term transit, lasting roughly 14 years, that slowly dissolves the structures you've built around your work, your health, and your habits. It is a period of divine reorganization, where the universe asks you to trade rigid efficiency for spiritual flow. The dissolution of routine. The sixth house is the realm of the to-do list, but Neptune has no interest in checklists. During this transit, you may find that your usual methods of staying organized simply stop working. Time becomes slippery. You might sit down to answer an email and find that 2 hours have passed in a daydream. This often leads to a period of professional disillusionment. If your job is purely mechanical or lacks a soul-level connection, you may feel an overwhelming sense of emptiness or brain fog at the office. You are being pushed to find work that feels like a calling rather than a chore. Many people under this transit transition into healing arts, creative fields, or humanitarian work, seeking a role where they can lose themselves in service to others. The body is a sensitive instrument. Perhaps the most significant impact of transiting Neptune in the sixth is on your physical health. Neptune rules the invisible, and in the house of health, this can manifest as mystery illnesses that leave doctors scratching their heads. You become a psychic sponge, and your body may react to emotional stress or environmental toxins that you previously ignored. During these years, your sensitivity to caffeine, alcohol, medication, and even processed foods usually heightens. The transit is essentially turning your body into a more finely tuned instrument. Traditional Western medicine may feel insufficient. You might find yourself drawn to energy healing, Reiki, acupuncture, mind-body practices, yoga, qigong, intuitive eating and holistic nutrition. The lesson here is that you cannot treat the body as a machine during a Neptune transit. You must treat it as a temple. The trap of the invisible martyr. Because Neptune dissolves boundaries, the sixth house transit can make you vulnerable in the workplace. You might find yourself taking on the emotional burdens of your coworkers or doing the work of 3 people because you feel bad for your boss. There is a risk of being taken advantage of or becoming the office martyr. Deception can also be a theme, not necessarily out of malice, but out of confusion. Miscommunications, disappearing paperwork, or vague job descriptions are common. It is vital to cultivate discernment. You are learning to serve others without losing your own identity in the process. The spiritualization of the mundane. Ultimately, the goal of Neptune transiting the sixth house is to turn your daily grind into a daily ritual. It wants you to realize that washing the dishes, walking the dog, and filing reports are all opportunities for mindfulness. By the end of this transit, the fog usually lifts to reveal a life that is much more aligned with your soul's purpose. You may emerge with a slower, more intentional pace of life, having learned that being productive is far less important than being present. You stop trying to control your schedule and learn to move with the tide, trusting that the work that needs to be done will find its way to you in its own divine timing. Subscribe, like, and share.